yogis. Here we are, about to enter the studio after weeks of separation. As you see, I'm wearing a mask, thanks to Dory. I suggest that as soon as you leave your homes on your way to the studio, you wear a facial covering as well. And please, try not to stop somewhere between your home and the studio where it's possible that you could become infected. Save your grocery shopping or your fueling of your vehicle for after class. Would you do that, please, just to keep everyone safe? I've got my yoga props in hand, and I've separated the personal items into a little bag. You might have a Ziploc bag at home so that they can be kept separate from my yoga props once I come into the studio. Here we go, into the foyer. Follow us. Yogis, as soon as you come into the foyer, you'll notice little marks on the cement. These are just guidelines for us to remain physically distant and safe as we wait, perhaps, to enter the studio. Here you notice that there's some renovation and repairs going on in our building. That will most likely be completed before you arrive. But you might be wondering, what's that about? It won't impact us at all once we start gathering for classes. Come on in, let's go into the studio. I like to cover my hand when I'm touching something others will touch. Some of you may have vinyl gloves at home, or you may have a better way of covering and protecting your hand when you're going to touch something that others will also touch. Now we're entering. It's exciting. Once we come in, we'll separate our personal items. We'll turn off our cell phone and any other personal items, vehicle keys perhaps, and we'll place them on one of the hooks, just like that. We're also going to ensure that among our personal items is hand solution, hand sanitizer. As soon as I come into the door, I've got my hand sanitizer and I'm giving myself a little blast of hand sanitizer and making sure that the palms are clean, the space between the fingers, the back of the fingers, every part of the hand is cleansed in order to take the next step. Our personal items are stowed, our shoes are removed and set into the cubbies. And now we're coming into the studio. Follow us. Once you come into the studio, you're going to notice some things look quite different. This morning, for the purposes of this video, we've set the mats out, and they are 8 feet distant from each other. You won't see mats on the floor when you come. We've set these out just to give you a visual picture. What you will see, come on over here. You will see a piece of tape on the floor. It will most likely be black electrical tape. And you will then set your mat down in such a way that the tape is right at the very center of your mat. That way, as you see, you'll have plenty of safe space between you and the other yogis. You'll place your yoga props, and we're suggesting, yogis, a mat, a belt or some facsimile of a yoga belt. Could be 2 scarves that you've knotted together. Could be 2 garment belts that you've spliced together. And a blanket. That way, we can teach what these props will support you to do. Let's think about this. We're keeping physical distance. Our hands are cleansed. We've walked directly to one of the spaces marked on the floor and set out our mats. We've kept our mat basket and our props close to us, and we've maintained a safe physical distance. During our classes, our yoga props in the studio will be covered. And that's because we won't be using any of the yoga props while the virus is still a threat to our safety. Once we're immune and once there's a vaccine, we will unwrap the props and have access to them again. Our teachers won't be touching you. Neither will they be moving into your physical space. We'll be using our words to direct you, to guide you, and to support you. Your selection of props will determine, to some extent, what we'll be able to teach. We're not asking you to spend a great deal of money on yoga props. This is not the time for extra expenditures. But look around your home and see, what could you provide for yourself that is a facsimile of some of the props that you've used in yoga classes? Is it possible that you could bring some improvised yoga props? Think about that. After class, each person will replace her props in her container. And we'll leave the studio directly, stopping only long enough in the foyer to pick up personal items and shoes and leave directly. That way, we're safe. Each yogi is leaving at her pace. Each yogi that's waiting will remain on her mat or his mat until such time as the next person leaves, and it allows us to leave safely. Yogis, most importantly, please keep in mind that if you have been exposed to someone with the COVID-19 virus, please don't come until you've quarantined 14 days. Also, if you've been traveling and you're just coming back to Canada, please stay quarantined for 14 days before you come to class. If you're suffering with a cold, a cough, a sore throat, or a fever, please heal at home so that all may be well, and that when we gather fully in our community, no one is missing. Thank you, and namaste.